Thank you. Thank you so much. Well, hello and welcome to Friday Night with Jonathan Ross. I tell you what, these face transplants aren't all they're cracked out to be, are they? They've given me Phil Mitchell's face. How horrible is that? Got to take the fall. Oh, don't worry, ladies, it's still me underneath.
Who wants it for later? You know you do. How camp did that sound? And why am I surprised? You know, when I die, I want to point this out, every part of me is up for grabs. Okay? It'd be like the Howard sale. The fella's already put in a bid for one part of my life. So you see who's in my green room tonight? Sweating and cowering like Naomi Campbell's entourage. I like that about her, though, don't you? Why don't we have a look? My first guest is Kazakhstan's leading television reporter. It is Borat. Hey, put that away, will you? You're on television. Borat is on the show. Who's that there with you, Borat?
This is my producer, Azamat Bagatov.
That's Borat, and was it Azamat?
Yes.
Okay. Borat is on the programme, ladies and gentlemen. It's okay. No, you can sit. It's okay, you can sit. We'll do that in a minute. Okay. Okay. My next guest, well, I never thought I would see the day, but they're back together. It's All Saints, ladies and gentlemen. The lovely All Saints, all four of them, back together in the one room, in a band. Ladies, you're looking lovely. You're looking gorgeous this evening.
Thank you.
Thank you very much for coming on. My next guest is an actual legend, ladies and gentlemen. He is the one and only Smokey Robinson. The great Smokey Robinson. Hi, Smokey.
Jonathan.
Smokey Robinson, ladies and gentlemen. I am a huge fan of Smokey Robinson. We'll do the whole song together.
Great, I'm looking forward to it.
How very charming of you to lie like that. Thank you very much.
You sing the lead, I'm going to back you up.
Well, you say that.
Yes.
But I'll be honest with you, I don't know if you're up to the standard, because I've just set a very high level. Now, that's the show. We're fantastic guests, I'm sure you'll agree. It's going to be a great programme. Before we get to that, let me just share something with you, because I, Jonathan Ross, OBE, will always defend the honour of Her Majesty the Queen. Knighthood. So I was furious when I heard that a new and unflattering portrait of Her Majesty had been unveiled at the Tate Modern. Have you seen this picture? Okay, this is the new portrait of the Queen. Sweet Popeye the Sailor Man. What are they thinking? That's meant to be the Queen? When I first saw it, I thought, will Leslie Ash never learn? But then, what? Just a joke. But you know what? After I've looked at it a few times, I quite like it. It made me smile. I think they should put that on the Christmas stamp, shouldn't they? Much better than what you normally get. It's like a shepherd fondling a robin or something in the sun. But I have some humble advice to offer a man. Next time you're sitting for a portrait, keep your teeth in, because that's what you want. Shall we get my first guest out? Please, will you welcome, all the way from Kazakhstan, Borat. Nice to meet you. Hold on, what's that? Hey, Jesus, what's that?
It is a great honor. I give you honor.
OK, well, thank you.
Very nice. Whoa. You have a chair.
I'm glad you did that at the beginning. I hope all Saints were watching and taking notes.
Do you ever go and make a bang, bang, bang?
Sometimes on my birthday, my wife gives me a special privilege, yes.
Yes?
And it's in 2 weeks' time, so maybe I shouldn't have admitted that.
But you guarantee me you do not ever travel to edge of forest to make, put a goose liver inside of, to make no tearing in?
I can promise you I've never done that.
Great, high five!
OK.
Thank you, I'm happy.
OK, well, OK.
Thank you.
No.
Why not? I give you honor.
It's a nice honour to receive, but once was more than enough on any given evening. Welcome to the United Kingdom.
Very nice to be here.
Okay.
In England. What? Yes.
And you're here because you have your movie out. There was a premiere of the big Borat film.
It is nice.
OK.
I like it. I
Yeah, well, it's nice. It's a nice smile you have. It's a nice, happy face.
I like your face. Your name is Ross.
Yes.
Do you know Paul Ross?
Yes, I do know Paul Ross. He's my brother.
No.
Yeah.
He is your brother?
Yes.
Whoa. Paul Ross is very big star in Kazakhstan.
No, is he really? Well, I'm delighted for him. Well, he's a talented man. I'm pleased.
Whoa, you are really Paul Ross' brother?
Yeah. Would they be excited about that news in Kazakhstan?
We have a statue of Paul Ross. you know January 18th, it is Paul Ross Day.
Is it really?
He come very much. He like very much to make sexy time.
Ah, okay. Yeah, well.
And with the girls too.
Well, he hasn't changed then. Okay, it was the premiere here in the UK last night. Now, how was that for you? It must have been quite an exciting event, I would have thought, by it.
It was very exciting to meet all the peoples from England. I arrived here though with my son Bilak, who was 11 years old
I think we have a
yesterday.
photograph of you there. Is that Bilak there?
That is Bilak, and that is his wife. And that is their daughter.
Okay. Now, Borat, am I right in thinking you must be just about the most famous person in Kazakhstan? Certainly, you're the most famous person we've heard of from Kazakhstan, but in the country itself, are you famous? Are you a star there?
Yes, to answer your question, I am now very famous in my country. I am the fourth most famous person in Kazakhstan.
Really? And who would the first three be?
Number 3 is Lily Utmarkan, you know her?
No.
The ex-Olympic gymnast who now work in Kazakh State Circus. Incredible!
Yeah, what a talent. I would give that 10.
How far can these ladies in a green room put it inside?
I don't know, but let's hope we find out before the end of the evening. Okay, that was number 3.
Number 2 is Premier Nazarbayev.
Okay.
And number 1 is children's favorite actor, Johnny the Monkey. You know him?
No, I don't think we've seen Johnny the Monkey's work. Let me ask you about your film, because Borat has a movie out, and it's a documentary, I suppose, isn't it? It's about your journey to America. The full title of the film is Borat, Cultural Learnings of America for Make Benefit Glorious Nation of Kazakhstan.
This is the abridged title.
Okay. Now, why go to America, Borat? Why did you choose America when, for example, you could have come here to the United Kingdom?
We wanted to come to United Kingdoms because we like. But my producer, Azamat Bagatov, was not granted entry.
Okay. He's here this evening with us, of course.
Yes.
He's an interesting-looking fellow.
Yes. Azamat, the mogę zrobić won.
He's a funny man.
Not so much. He is a fact.
He's a fat man.
Yes.
Okay. Is that something which is valued in Kazakhstan society? Do they like plump men?
Very much.
Okay. Can I ask you, and please don't take this wrong, but are you two together as partners?
Yes, we are partners.
But as boyfriends?
He is my boyfriend, yes.
But as man and man together?
No. I have a wife. You want to see her picture?
Look. You have a picture of your wife?
Yes.
I love it. There she is.
Her name is Oksana.
There she is. She's on the screen.
Yes.
She's a very lovely woman.
Yes, this is her.
Okay. Maybe we don't need to see all the pictures you have
Yes,
of
this
Oksana.
is-
No! We don't need to see that.
She is nice.
She seems very friendly and
Yes.
very warm and a very open woman.
She is dead now. High five. I have a better one.
You have a new wife now?
Yes.
Okay. You also have a large family, is that correct?
Yes, I have 3 sons, Bilak, Biram, and Huey Lewis. And I have a sister.
And you have children as well, is this correct? You have, you mentioned some children. You have quite a large family. Do you miss them when you travel?
Yes, I do very much miss them. I miss my brother, Bilo. He is a He lives in a cage. He have a tiny head, but a very strong arms.
Okay.
He have 182 teeth. Wow. Yeah.
That sounds like a very memorable figure.
Very nice.
Yeah. So you miss the family when you travel away. Can you keep in touch?
Yes, I can. But we bring this baby from my son Bilak, and we hope very much to sell it to Madonna. I hope he will be a good father.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, let's see if we can. Help make that happen.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Now, Borat. There's been quite a lot of controversy stirred up by your movie. I believe some people in Kazakhstan have not been as happy with having you as their emissary as others. They think perhaps that you are maybe not presenting Kazakhstan as a forward-thinking modern nation.
There is some truth in this, Jonathan. Yeah. Yes, there is requirement. You must not go under.
What is the,
We do not have same problem as you, that everything is controlled by the... Yes? Yes? Yes. There are some of them out here.
There might be, you know. You've mentioned some of the shows on Kazakhstan television. Would there be a talk show like this? Who would have my kind of job? Was there a show like Friday Night with Jonathan Ross in Kazakhstan?
We have a big star called Victor Hotelier. You know him?
I don't think we know him here. No.
He is the star of Almaty Summer and the comedy film What a Nice Laughter.
Okay.
I am a friend of him, ladies. He have a show called Fun Talkings, and it have a camera, like you say, in the reception room, like you.
Like in the green room,
And
yeah.
it have one camera in a ladies' toilets. I would like very much see these ladies from all sides make a toilet. Yes? Not so much smoky. Yes?
It looks to me, I don't want to point the finger in here, but it looks to me like Melanie may well be up for it because she seems to be responding in a way. Yeah, I think you.
Why?
Because you were making flirtatious eyes when he said that. You looked.
No, it was a frightened expression.
You like to make a toilet, Melanie? How much is she? No, please.
I can't accept cash while the
I have
cameras are on.
£5. I have $1.
He's got £5, Melanie.
That'll do.
Great! Melanie, I like dance.
While you're over here, will you?
I'm thick like a can of Pepsi. She like me.
Thick like a can of Pepsi. Ladies and gentlemen, Borat. Thank you, Brian. That was an education and a pleasure. Thank you. Thank you very much. Yes, thank you. Thank you. That's lovely. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Borat. Yeah. Borat, ladies and gentlemen. Borat from Kazakhstan. A nice job, Borat. Good. Halloween and bonfire night are nearly upon us, and the good people at Covent Garden Soup have entered into the spirit of the occasion with a special soup to mark this special... Here it is. This is out now. You can buy this in posher supermarkets. Okay, this is a challenging yet fibrous blend of pumpkin and haricot bean. Called, that's right, Hubble Bubble Toil and Trouble. And there's instructions on the side that after eating this, lock up all pets. Apart from the dog, because you'll need someone to blame it on. Let's get my next guest out. It's a great song. I'm glad they're back. Ladies and gentlemen, it's All Saints. Take a seat. Okay, so let me just check, in case you're not familiar with all these things, of course, it's Mel, yes. Melanie, it's Shaznay, yes, it's Nick, yep. Nicola and Natalie. Nicole. Hey, thank you for coming on the show. It's nice to see you all here, and it is good news you're back together. I forgot what a lovely song that was, and you've written a number of great songs. Shaznay, you do most of the writing, is that right?
Yeah, but we do all right, but yeah, I do.
So do you work together, or do you do it on your own?
Do you know what? We've tried to work together, and we just, in all honesty, it doesn't work.
And why doesn't it work? What happens? What goes wrong?
Because we mess about too much.
Okay, so you have too much fun.
Yeah.
So you're back together. Okay, so can you explain why did you split up in the first place, and then what happened that brought you back together? Because it was what, about 5-6 years ago that you split up? Okay.
5 years ago.
Who wants to tell us the official story, and then who wants to tell us the truth?
We'll just tell you the truth.
Okay.
Go on then.
Our friendship was in tatters, and that was it, really.
What happened that caused you to fall apart?
Just an accumulation of many things that never got solved at the time. So.
Like what?
Right.
Loads of different
Where do we
issues.
start?
We'd never say, this upset me today, that upset me today, any little thing. And it just built up and built up and built up. And no one around us encouraged us to talk. They were just like, oh, whatever, just carry on with it and carry on.
And is that because you were successful? People just wanted to carry on and didn't want to open up the possibility that
Yes,
they could
they
be
just wanted to make the cash.
Yeah, no one kind of banged our heads together and sat us down as friends and said, you know, sort your friendship out first.
Yeah.
It was pretty much, look, you know, we stand to lose this tomorrow if you don't kind of just.
But and was it also? Do you think because you were successful? Do you think that was part of the problem?
Part of it, yeah.
You then begin to believe that you don't have to make the effort that you did before with friends, or?
No, I don't think it was that. I think it was just, we were just falling apart and no one sort of, if anything, they just went, we'll just get on with it.
Yeah.
And it wasn't really the best advice, I think.
From the outside, and I know that there's some corroboration, it seemed that you kind of split into two units, that you guys kind of went off as friends and you guys...
Well, we're sisters.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But people, brothers and sisters don't always... and then you guys brought out a book in which you slightly dissed your former bandmates.
Yes, we were angry, you know, and you know, there's some things that you think, oh God, I wish I hadn't done that, and said things that you say. But it was at that point where all the frustration that was built up came out in a book.
Yeah.
And, you know, maybe it wasn't
And that's always
right,
a nice
but
way to let former friends know
What
what was upsetting you. It's like,
We all
Yeah.
said things we know were wrong, and that's the thing. We all actually know that we. Said
And we've all
things.
sat on that step that you sit on when you're naughty for the last 4.5 years thinking about what we did, and we were all sorry, so.
But I think we're all kind of like happy with the fact that we did end it because we didn't get on. It's not like we tried to carry on and do it just for the money.
so that would have been worse, you think?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, we couldn't be in the same room anymore. We thought, it, let's go home.
So it was as
that's
bad
what
as
we
that?
did.
It was really that bad?
Towards the end, yeah.
Yeah, we had separate dressing rooms, makeup, we travelled separately. It was not good at all. You could cut the atmosphere with a knife
Yeah.
if you walked in.
And how long did you carry on together when it was like that, when it was as bad as that? How long was that going on for before you decided to call it a
Probably
day?
about a year.
A year? That
Yeah.
must have been
We
just
had
hideous.
commitments and stuff that we couldn't break, so it was, you know.
So it must have been quite a relief when it was over, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, and then how does it come full circle that you then work through that and decide you're getting back together?
We made up.
I just
Simple
think
as that.
we've reached a certain stage in our lives where we're all mothers now, and you know, we just kind of rose above it and just thought, you know what, we were mates. You know, we weren't just a band that was put together. You know, we had genuine feelings for each other, and we wanted to, you know, to share all those experiences with each other. So we were like, well, you explain what happened.
Go on, you do it.
All right then. So I was in the south of France, and I was there on holiday with two friends, which all of us know. And the first time we got there, only went for 3
Okay,
days.
who are they? Would we all know them as well?
Nikita Metz and Shara Jathan.
Never heard of them. I bet they're huge in Kazakhstan.
No.
You're saying no, but part of you's a little bit glad. So you're in the south of France.
So we're in the south of France, and I've just literally got there, and I was about, you know, to go on the lounger, and my phone went. And I said, hello, Nicole, it's Melanie Blatt. Because she didn't think I'd know Mel, because I know Mel as Mel.
So how long since you'd spoken to her?
5 years.
Wow.
And I was so instantly happy. It was like, I'd reached that point, but Mel had called Shaz to say, I'm in the south of France as well, should I ring Nick? And Shaz went, yeah, call her. I think we'd all reached that point where it was actually okay. Whoever reached out, we'd all become friends again. It was just, you know, someone taking that. So she called me, and then I dissed both of my friends and got Mel the whole time I was on holiday.
Well, and that must have been, I would have thought, a relief for you, wasn't it? It must have
Relief.
been a nice
Again,
feeling.
another relief.
Now, on a totally different subject, Natalie, when was it you went in the jungle?
I was waiting for this.
I'm a celebrity, get me out of here. And Natalie, why did you do it? Why did you want to do
You
it?
know, I asked myself that. Well, for a while afterwards, I kind of asked myself
We
that.
begged her not to do
But
it.
listen,
I don't think any of us would have dealt with that
Exactly.
in any different sort of way, because that does look terrifying. And even though you're on a harness, you know, that must have felt so high.
I was so high. It was.
It was fascinating to see, and you, I think, accounted for yourself very well, especially as people kept voting you to do the worst things, because your reaction was so large. Can I ask Shaznay and Melanie here, did you vote at any stage?
No.
You know what?
Honestly, no.
I
I actually stopped watching because I couldn't bear it, to be honest with you.
You couldn't bear it?
No, I couldn't bear it.
I suppose to see a friend, even if you weren't close at the time, it was pretty awful
Yeah.
to see someone go through that.
Yeah.
I voted once and she didn't do it. Yeah, the one time I did. And she didn't do it.
And it was so entertaining seeing you losing it every night.
You were good TV.
You were fabulous, Stevie.
You were good TV.
But, you know, it was just weird seeing you in it, but it's nice that you're out in one piece.
It was an experience.
All right, genuinely, it's very nice to see you back together. I always thought, I mean, you've written such lovely songs, and I'm pleased that you're making new material and you're going to be touring again. You have a new single out right now. What's the name of the single?
Rocksteady.
And you have been styled for this by this fellow off the TV. What is the name of your stylist?
Gok. He's in the
Gok.
back. He'll be loving this.
Gok. Now, there's Gok 1. There you go. Okay. Gok 1. Okay, one of the most ridiculous men I've ever seen on TV.
How can you say that?
I've been outed. All right, because he does the show where he makes people strip off. You know?
Spanks.
No, did he?
Seriously?
Mel's saying yes, you're denying
Oh, no,
it.
I don't have the Spanks, though.
No, not Spanks.
only
Don't
I
start
have
a big
the Spanks.
row. I don't want to be responsible for you splitting up for another 5 years. I'd let Gok have a look at me.
No, I'm shy.
All right, then.
I should.
Make you look good naked.
I already look remarkable naked. I'm telling you, in silhouette, when I'm proud, it's terrifying.
No.
My parents are going to watch this.
Your parents can have a look as well if they wish. I'm sure your mum's still got a bit of life in her. What are you doing that for? What are you doing that for? What's wrong with that? I'll take on an older lady. There you go. That's All Saints, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much for coming on the show. Good luck with it all. All Saints. Thank you, ladies. Thank you, Mel. Lovely. See you later. Mind out for Borat. Oh, look. We get 2 kisses on the way out as well. Well done. And thank you for coming on. And you were great in the jungle, so... The All Saints. Can you get my final guest out? Please welcome the great Smokey Robinson. Smokey Robinson. The great Smokey Robinson. Wow, it's a thrill to have you here, sir. Thank you for coming on the show.
This is my pleasure.
Now, I'm sure you're familiar with so many of Smokey's songs. Smokey's written some of the most beautiful music that's come out of America in the last century and continues to do so, I hope. Your name, Smokey Robinson, I always thought came from your smoky-sounding, beautiful-sounding voice, but that's not where the nickname Smokey comes from, is it?
No, it isn't.
Could I ask you, where does... Let's leave them hanging. Let's not tell them. I like that about you.
That's my point.
Let's leave a bit of mystery. Smokey was given to you. Who first called you Smokey?
My favorite uncle. I had an uncle, he's passed on now. His name was Uncle Claude. And when I was about 3 years old, I loved cowboys. So he used to take me to see all the cowboy movies and what have you. And he had a cowboy name for me, which was Smokey Joe. And whenever anybody asked me my name, rather than me telling them my real name, which is William, I told them my name was Smokey Joe.
And it just stuck?
When I got to be about 12, that was long and drawn out, so they dropped the Joe off, and it just became Smokey.
All right, now I've been a fan of your music, well, since I think the first time I heard your voice. And I was fascinated by your history with Motown Records, because I think you and your band, you were the first band to be signed by Motown, is that correct?
Yes, we were actually with Barry before he even started Motown.
This is Berry Gordy.
Berry Gordy, who is the founder of Motown. And we were together with him before we started Motown, and when we did, we were the first group there.
And what year was that? What year were you signed?
And that was quite a while ago.
Smokey, look, you can't fool people into thinking you're a fresh kid on the block, all right?
I can't. Well,
we might as well own up. You've been around for a few years.
Let me go out and come back in with my real kid disguise.
That was when was that? It was about 1960, was it, or 59?
59.
Wow,
yeah.
1959. What an incredible place to be, I would have thought, at that time, because we look back now and you think of Motown as just this legendary company. So much talent they found, so many great records they put out. But of course, you were there at the very beginning, and it was, I suppose, it could have gone the way of so many small labels and disappeared. What did it have that was so special? Why did it survive?
Well, you know, Jonathan, people ask me the question many times, why do we have so many talented people in the Detroit area and at the same time, and they were there. I think that there are probably that many, ratio-wise, that many talented people in every city, every town, every village in the world. It's just the fact that we had Berry Gordy in Detroit, and Berry Gordy was the guy who had a dream, and he had the wherewithal to put that together and get people to make that dream happen, and making his dream come true, made a lot of other dreams come true. And he was the difference. He was in Detroit, and that gave us an outlet, a place to go and a place to be.
Yeah. It was kind of, now we talk about the Motown sound.
Yes.
You talk about, how would we pin that down? What was the Motown sound and where did it come from?
You tell me, what do you think the Motown sound was?
I always think of it as having very, very kind of hooky songs, often with a kind of very unique drum beat at the beginning.
Okay.
Okay. And then some words will come out as well. And then there'll be a bit in the middle which you can sing along to, and then it will end. That's how I would sum up the Motown sound.
Okay.
How would you sum
You're right. That's it. You're the first person who ever got it right.
But it was unique because I loved music from that period, and I like, you know, it was considered soul music, I guess. There were other labels, Atlantic and Stax, they had stuff like, but there was something about Motown. You kind of knew it was a Motown record.
Well, you know what, Jonathan? I think that my answer to that is Motown was and is the people. We had a group of people there who were the Motown sound. The Funk Brothers, all the artists, the producers, the writers. Yeah. We were the Motown sound. To give you an example of what I'm talking about. When we first started becoming popular, people would bring their artists from Timbuktu, from London, from Nashville, from California, from New York, to record their artists in Detroit because they thought if they came to Detroit and recorded their artists, they were going to get the Motown sound because it was somewhere in the air. And you could just come and it would be in the air and your artists would have the Motown sound if you recorded them there. They didn't realize that at the same time our artists would be on the road and we would record them in Timbuktu and over here in London and in New York and Chicago and Los Angeles and whatever. We always got the Motown sound. I defy anybody to sit me down and take a group of Motown records and say, oh, this one was recorded in Detroit and this one was recorded in California. Because Motown was just the people. We were the Motown sound.
Motown was a state of mind.
Yes.
Can I ask you, you didn't actually record in Timbuktu, though, did you?
Not really. We were going to do it, but the date was
I know, because of course we used Timbuktu just to say it's a faraway place. But you ran out of faraway places quite soon, I noticed. You said Timbuktu, London, then just loads of American cities.
Yes, exactly.
You must have travelled more than that, Smokey.
No, there was only Timbuktu and London. That was it.
Okay. You were involved in helping find bands, I believe, and you know, if we talk about the talent that was signed to Motown over the years, now, I mean, you some of the biggest performers of recent years. Marvin Gaye, the great Marvin Gaye, of course, Diana Ross and the Supremes, Stevie Wonder, the Jackson family as well.
Yes.
Once again, finding these people and seeing these people and working with them, that must have been just an incredible experience, I would have thought. Because you wrote songs for a lot of the others, didn't you?
Yes. And it really was an experience. You know, as vice president of Motown Records, that was actually my office function, to find new talent, to sign them in, and to coordinate them with producers and writers and people like that if I was not going to work with them myself. In fact, the guy is here with me backstage, who is one of my closest friends. He was our first A&R director at Motown, Mickey Stevenson.
Wow, there's
Mr.
Stevenson there. Good evening,
songwriter
sir. Nice to
himself.
have you with us.
He wrote songs like Dancing in the Streets and songs like that.
No, hold on. You wrote Dance in the Streets?
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow, come on, let's hear it. Unbelievable. It's remarkable.
And it was his job as A&R director. He was our very first A&R director, and he found people like the Funk Brothers and people like that. He went around to little clubs in Detroit and individually found those guys.
Because the Funk Brothers were kind of the backing guys that used on most of the records, weren't they?
Yes.
Yeah, yeah. Mm-hmm. Wow, incredible time and place to be, I thought. Let me ask you something which is always fascinated me. Is here you have a period in American history which we look back on now, and we tend to focus on the positive. We look at stuff like, you know, like the popular music and some of the movies that come out. But of course, this was a period where, when you were growing up, I believe, there was still segregation in the schools in the United States.
Oh, absolutely. Segregation was everywhere, and it was really rough in the beginning when we would go like to the South in America. It was really pretty rampant there. And
so this is when you were performing?
Performing, yes. And we'd go places and the white people would be upstairs, the black people would be downstairs, or they'd have a stage in the middle of the arena and the black people would be on one side, white people would be on the other side, or vice versa, whatever. And it was just totally segregated. And after about a year or so, we'd go there and they had been introduced to the music, and the music kind of brought them together, and we'd go back and everybody would be not only sitting together, but dancing together and having a good time. And Motown bridged a lot of gaps that prior to that time had not been open.
Your songs were never that political in a way. You weren't someone who wrote about that. Were you tempted to? Did you ever want to express any kind of dissatisfaction with the way things were, or comment on it?
I only wrote one protest or political song that I can think of in my life, and that was a song called Just My Soul Responding. And it was really popular here in the UK. And it was started with the music of my guitarist, Marv Tarplin, who is still with me, who has been the source of so many songs for me. It was a protest song about the war and about racial relationships and things like that. But basically, I write about love because love is everlasting, I hope. I mean, that gives my songs longevity because love is the never-ending subject, you see. So
I love your songs. I love your songwriting talent.
I love
Never
you too,
fails to amaze me.
Jonathan.
No, seriously. I don't think there's a
Wanna
week goes
feel?
by.
No.
Yeah, I would love to have a feel.
You almost got to the
Look at
bottom.
that,
Now.
I'm feeling Smokey Robinson's leg.
Oh, no, not. Oh,
Yeah,
no,
I'm
no.
feeling it quite hard,
Yeah,
aren't I,
see?
Smokey? Yeah.
I could just.
You can just do what you
take
want.
my
I'm not
side.
going down there, all right?
Take out my side.
I did it with him because he's from Kazakhstan. He doesn't know any better.
No, that's what he was doing backstage, you see.
There's got one.
Yeah, baby. I heard you called me.
Tell Gok wanted to be careful sitting next to him because
It's Gok,
he was,
not...
yeah, he was going down my leg back there.
Hey, Smokey. You know what I find fascinating and what I think I responded to? More often than not, I mean, you've written some very upbeat love songs, but more often than not, they're quite sad love songs. They're about unrequited love or love that's gone wrong or love that, you know, perhaps didn't turn out the way the person hoped or expected.
Yeah, you could be right about that. I never really compared them, but I do know that I don't have to be happy to write a happy song or sad to write a sad song. I'm not one of those songwriters who needs to, you know, take time off and go to the mountains and you know, isolate myself to write or anything like that. It just happens.
I guess you wouldn't have been able to produce as many great songs as you had if you had to do that every time you wanted to write one. Many years ago, Bob Dylan, who of course is you know, a greatly respected talent as well, said of you, said of Smokey, that Smokey Robinson is the greatest living American poet. I'm sure you've encountered that quote. You've heard that.
Well, yeah, I've heard it, and I was very flattered by that. You know, Bob's my friend, and Bob's a great songwriter, a great artist himself, and so for any of your peers to say something like that about you is flattering.
How long does it take you to write a song? Are there some songs that take longer? Are there some that you have to spend more time crafting, or is it all pretty much the same thing, the same?
No, they take different amounts of time. I mean, there are some songs that are instant. Like I'll take a song like maybe Shop Around. Shop Around was a song that I wrote in about 25 minutes.
I can't do the high notes anymore.
No.
But that was it, wasn't it?
I want to know what you're doing on nights when I'm hoarse, because I could
On
use
nights
you.
when you're what, Smokey?
When I could use you.
I'm there in the back feeding you lyrics. Don't you worry
exactly.
about it.
You could be backstage singing. I
But
could
that's
just
you
lip
know,
sync.
But those early songs, they strike me almost, they're more like doo-wop songs, aren't they? They had that kind of structure.
Yeah,
sort of
yeah,
with
and so that took about maybe 25, 30 minutes to write.
That's
and
all
then,
it took, 25, 30
Yeah,
minutes?
25, 30 minutes. But then there's a song like Cruisin' that took 5 years. My guitarist, once again, Marv Tarplin, you know, he gave me that music on a tape, and I listened to it, and I wrote 2 or 3 songs to it, and they didn't fit. And then finally we came up with Cruisin', and it took 5 years to do that.
And what happened? There's a photograph. I mean, that's. Do you remember wearing those?
I remember wearing those. See, the thing about it, if you notice, when Michael Jackson first came out with the high water we call pants, you know, they thought he came up with that. Look at those pants.
They could not be any higher.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Exactly.
You look like you look like aliens.
I like that outfit, John.
You look like that's something that Captain Kirk would come up against in Star Trek. That's like another civilization's clothing.
Burnt orange with the gold trim.
There's another one. Look, now there. Wow, you really are pushing out the boat there. And you know, I love it. Just in case people aren't aware you're in a romantic mood, you've brought flowers.
that was when. That was when I was no longer with the group. That was after I came back as a solo performer, and you know, many times the ladies just give you flowers, and so it's
Smokey, wearing that outfit, I'd have bought you flowers. And that's a real early one. And now was that was the
Notice
that is
the
the
pants
miracle.
again, yeah.
And that great shot. That's a great shot.
Yeah.
Well, we have the good news is Smokey will be touring again next year. You're going to be doing a tour again next year. I'm very much looking forward to that.
Me too.
This is the first time for, it must be over 10 years now, isn't it?
Well, it's been probably about 13 years or so.
Wow.
In fact, I was just here about maybe 3 months ago to do a showcase for some of the potential promoters and people like that, press, for the tour that we're going to do. And it starts here in the UK in May of next year. And I'm looking forward to it because I love it here.
What I love about seeing it on the DVD, I got it out because I was looking at some of the clips, and although, as you know, I bow to no man in my appreciation of Smokey and the Miracles, but you guys were never the most comfortable-looking dancers on stage. I hope you don't mind me pointing that out.
Well, I don't mind you pointing out because I never really had to do that. The guy who was the choreographer at Motown, we had a school there called Artist Development. where all the groups and all the acts had to go. As long as you were signed there, you had to go. I don't care what status you achieved. You still had to go 2 days a week when you were in town. And his name was Charlie Atkins. He was a great dancer. And he used to always tell me, I am so glad you're the lead singer so I don't have to try to show you these steps. Because, and I was glad too, because some of the stuff was beyond what I could do.
Yeah, I was going to say to you, I don't think you would have had a hard time learning those steps.
I might have been able to do those. I never saw them doing that.
But what I love was even then they were slightly out of time with each other. You see, they were.
Have to get on them about that.
That's the DVD that it's in, but you have a new CD, a double CD out.
Yeah, double CD.
Which has got old and new stuff on.
Yeah, the new one is called Timeless Love, and it's all the old, what they call the American Songbook songs. And the one that has the other material on it, or the vintage material, is called the Definitive Collection, and they're both there together in one collection.
So well, I've got it already, of course, being a fan. Hey, one thing I was going to ask you before we go is, what do you make of the current music scene in the US? And in particular, I'm thinking of what they call urban music over there. You know, we're talking about rap and hip-hop and so on. The way the bands are together. Because in the old days, it struck me there was something of a fraternity. You know, even if you weren't on the same label, but, you know, if you knew the Temptations and you knew the Barcades and you knew the Blackbirds and all these other singers, you seem to be getting on. These days, these people are driving past each other, they're shooting each other, You never heard, in the old days, the Four Tops didn't go gunning for Martha Reeves and the Vandellas, did they?
Well, they did, but you just didn't hear about it.
Well, they kept it quiet. Well, what's going on over there? What's going on?
You know, Jonathan, I can't answer that question. I think that when, in cases like that where it does happen, it's a shame because music is a gift. And, you know, it's like a blessing, and it's something to be shared, and something to bring people together, like I was talking about in the early days of Motown and what have you. And for people to use it to make war doesn't make sense to me at all, period. Fortunately, it's not all like that. You know, the incidences where that takes place are rare and far in between. And as far as the urban sound, I think that it's just street poetry. It's what those kids are living. It's all they know. You know, it's how they came up, their view of the world around them. And that's what they're rapping about, and that's what they're talking about. And it's not totally their fault. It's just life as they know it. So if it comes out negative, that's what they know. And I think it's a shame that the negative gets more notoriety and more publicity than the positive stuff that happens, you know, because I know some Christian rappers. You know, rap unto itself is not a bad thing or a bad art form. You know, it's just some people use it. But there's always been negative music. Yeah. When I was a kid, they used to say if you play, which I never understood how you could even do this, but they said if you played the records backwards, you would get satanic messages. Did you ever hear that?
I did.
Yeah,
I must admit, I never heard any on yours when I played them backwards.
I don't know how you could possibly play the record backwards, but that used to be the thing. So.
But why would you want to?
Oh, exactly. Yeah. Well, you want to get satanic messages, some people, I guess. But there's always been negative music. But it just so happens that I think that probably radio is more permissive now, and they play a lot of stuff that would have been censored many years ago. So it puts it out front more so than it would have had the chance to be.
You never use the swear word yourself in your music, do you, Mr. Robinson?
Hell no.
Smokey, it's been lovely to see you here this evening.
John,
Thank you so much for coming. I remain just a huge devoted fan.
Thank you very much.
And I can't wait to see you next year performing live. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Smokey Robinson.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thanks to all my guests this evening, of course, the one and only Smokey Robinson, All Saints and the marvellous Borat. Thank you all.